This episode is brought to you by Dice Dungeons. Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. Let's talk about Manshoon and the Manshoon Wars. Probably recognized as one of the potential villains in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Manshoon has an interesting history within the Forgotten Realms. Manshoon is a mage, an archmage, very powerful. He was born in Zhentil Keep in 1229 DR. His father Haralshun was the first lord of Zhentil Keep. When he became of age, Manshoon, along with his brother Asmith and the son of Haralshun's rival named Chess, left Zhentil Keep to prove themselves. While away, Chess's father, Cal Contor, poisoned Haralshun, but Haralshun with his last breath threw his attacker from the tower, who ended up dying from his fall, and Haralshun died from the poison. Hearing of this news, the three wished to return home and take their place in Zhentil Keep as was theirs by birthright. Manshoon knew that two brothers couldn't hold the same seat, so after his brother Asmith was blinded in battle with the Harpers, he conveniently arranged for him to fall off of a bridge. With Asmith dead, Manshoon was able to return to the city and oust the others that had taken over the council. Manshoon returned to Zhentil Keep in 1260 DR, along with Chess. They found the keep in control of Lord Baneservant, Olsen Baneservant, to be exact. Chess feigned loyalty to Olsen, and with the help of a young priest of Bane named Fazul Chembril, they killed Olsen and claimed their seats on the council. With this act, Manshoon became the Lord of Zhentil Keep. Manshoon knew there were others out to get him to take his position of power, or perhaps he was simply paranoid, nobody will know for sure, but it caused him to create a secret black network called the Zhentarim. This was a network of spies throughout Zhentil Keep, the Moonsea, and the rest of Faerun. These assassins and spies protected Manshoon and aided him by bringing information. Also, due to his paranoia, he crafted a spell that would create clones of himself, so in the event of his death he could live on. But so paranoid about dying he was that he ended up creating nearly 40 clones, I believe spread out across Faerun. The number of clones changes from source to source, but it's safe to say that there were plenty. Then in 1370 DR, Manshoon's ally and cleric of Bane, Fazul, along with Lord Orgauth, ganged up and killed Manshoon. Suddenly, all the clones activated at once. Fazul and Orgauth were expecting perhaps one clone to awaken, but all of them was quite the surprise. It's not known if the clones were scheduled to awaken if Manshoon died, or if someone else had awakened them. Regardless, the clones rose and immediately set to kill one another. The problem with this spell is if you make more than one clone, they immediately hate one another and try to kill them to be the only living clone. Suddenly, Faerun was ripe with powerful evil archmages that were convinced they were the real Manshoon. This time in history was known as the Manshoon Wars. Reports of 12 Manshoon clones ripped one another apart in Zhentil Keep. The good thing is the clones only grew paranoid and insane the closer they were to other clones. Getting in a radius of about 5 miles from other clones, they would start to feel this madness of trying to find the clone and kill it, to be the last Manshoon standing, the quote, real Manshoon. However, the clones had similar thoughts and would often come up with the same idea. For example, there were 2 clones that woke up in the Dale Lands and independently decided to visit Elminster to probably attack him. The closer these clones got to one another, the more insane they became, until Elminster himself heard a noise outside his door, only to open it and find 2 piles of ash where the 2 Manshoons had destroyed one another. One Manshoon was taken in by Larlock the Lich. When this clone did not wish to dive into the process of becoming a Lich, he was killed by Larlock and raised as an undead servant. Currently, there are 3 known Manshoons still existing within Faerun. One went back to Zhentil Keep and is just under Fazul, who now controls the Zhentarim. This Manshoon has little interest in running Zhentil Keep and was perfectly fine working with and taking direction from Fazul. This clone spends most of his time studying the clone spell, trying to perfect it, and possibly remove the insanity that comes with numerous clones. The second Manshoon lives in Undermountain, underneath Waterdeep. He offered himself as a willing pupil to Halaster the Mad Mage. Halaster gave him no entry into Undermountain, but Manshoon was persistent and eventually was allowed to stay. His goal was to rule Undermountain and usurp Halaster. Unfortunately for his plans, the Spell Plague occurred and caused much chaos within Undermountain. The blue fire tore apart Manshoon's mind. Sometime during his stay in Undermountain, Halaster caught him and amputated his left arm at the elbow for reasons unknown. This part could not be magically regrown for some reason, so Manshoon crafted a mechanical arm. He then went to live in Waterdeep. His goal is to somehow overthrow the masked lords and become the open wizard king of Waterdeep. This Manshoon favors the simulacrum spell to take care of his day-to-day activities. You're more likely to run into his simulacrum than the cloned Manshoon. Finally, the last remaining known clone of Manshoon adopted a different name, Orbach. This clone was attacked by vampires and became a vampire. The Night King Orlak found the clone and forcibly changed him. Now a vampire archmage, he quickly overtook his attacker and adopted his name and title. Manshoon became known as Orlak II for a while, then finally Orbach. He rules over the Night Masks of Westgate. It is rumored that he has left the Night Masks and hopes to regain control of the Zhentarim and possibly Zhentil Keep. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks to Dice Dungeons for sponsoring this video. Dice Dungeons has a plethora of items for your RPG needs: metal dice, regular dice, jumbo dice. They just received some new inspiration coins for use with dungeon masters and bards. Also, a new cloth battle map for ocean encounters. These maps are great and detailed, perfect to throw down for a quick encounter in a cave, at a campsite, and now the ocean. Use the code Jordan with a PH at checkout for 10% off your first order. Manshoon is featured in the adventure Waterdeep Dragon Heist as one of the potential villains. I find him fascinating, and how cool it would be for one of your PCs to run into yet another clone of Manshoon within the Forgotten Realms. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next week with another episode of Forgotten Realms Explained.